In this video, I will discuss the system schema, which is a tool that allows us to visualize objects and interactions. So the tool is called the system schema, and we will include two things: the objects that are participating in the physical phenomenon we're studying, and also it will also include the interactions between those objects. Interactions. All right. So let me do an example to illustrate this tool. Let's say that we have the ground. This is the earth, and I have the book. I have a book that is on top of the ground, on top of the surface of the earth. Okay, so this is a book. Now I will have to represent each object with just by writing what the object is. So I have the book, and then I will just draw a line around it. It does not have. It should not be a triangle. It should not be a rectangle. Just draw a line around that word, and then the other object that I have in this particular physical phenomenon, which is which nothing interesting happens really. Is the earth, and then I surround that word with another line. Now this is everything I have in this physical situation: the book and the earth. So these are my two objects. Now I'm done with this part of the system schema. Now I also need to show the interactions that take place in this physical situation. So what I see is that the book is in contact with the earth. And whenever you have two objects in contact, they do have a contact interaction. Now, anytime you have an interaction, you will illustrate that interaction with a double-headed arrow. That's why I have an arrow that has two heads here. Now, the meaning of the two heads on the arrow is that the interaction goes both ways. The interaction takes place between both the book and the earth. You always need two objects to have an interaction, right? You cannot have an interaction just with one object. So I have two heads on the arrow, and then the other important feature is that this is a solid line. Now I use a solid line because the interaction takes place all the time. I will show you later an example where this is not the case. So this is the contact interaction, and I use the lowercase letter c for contact. So this illustrates there is a contact interaction between the book and the earth. Now I also know that there is a gravitational interaction between the book and the earth. So I need to draw another double-headed arrow. Now instead of C for contact, I will use the lowercase letter g for gravitational. So I have two interactions in this case between the book and the earth: the contact and the gravitational. Now the system schema also allows us to define the system in an easy way, and I will show you how to do that. Now in this physical phenomenon, if I want the system to be the book, then I will just draw a dashed line around the book. So in this way, I have in this system schema the book to be my system. Okay. All right. So this was one example, and I will do one more so that to make more clear what is the system schema and how you can use it. Let's say, for example, that that we have two cars. So right here. So again, I have the surface of the earth. This is the road. This is the earth. And I have two cars. So, or say two carts. So this is one. This is cart one. And this is cart two. Now they are moving towards each other. So that means at some point in time, these two will collide. Now, to draw the system schema, again, the same idea. Of course, we have the Earth taking place in the physical phenomenon. Now, just so you know, if you don't have the Earth and these two are going towards each other while they are on a ramp or while they are on a track, we will still not show the ramp or the track. You can still say the ramp is part of the Earth, and that's what we have here. So we have the Earth, and then we have cart 1. Now, one thing that I see sometimes, students tend not to write the full word. You do have to write the full word. So if it is cart 1, you have to write the entire word. You have to write the entire word, Earth in this case. Then we have cart 2. Okay. Now, these are the objects that take place in this physical phenomenon. Now I have to start drawing the interactions. Okay. Cart 1 is in contact with the Earth, so I do have a contact interaction between cart 1 and the Earth. So double-headed solid arrow, lowercase c for contact. Cart 2 is also in contact with the Earth. Cart 1 has a gravitational interaction with the Earth, so this is double-headed arrow, solid line, lowercase g. Cart 2 also has the same type of interaction with the Earth. Now, here is something important. There is, in principle, a gravitational interaction between cart 1 and cart 2. However, this one is very tiny. This one is tiny. It is negligible compared to the other interactions. So I don't include it here. I don't include it in the system schema. Now, I said before, these two are moving towards each other, which means that eventually they will collide, they will be in contact. However, they will not be in contact during the entire duration of the physical phenomenon. They will only come in contact for a little bit. So to show that this is a contact interaction that only lasts for a small amount of time and not all the time, I will use a double-headed arrow, but now instead of a solid line, I will use a dashed line. And I will still use the lowercase c for the contact interaction. And again, lastly, I can define my system by enclosing using a dashed line, cart 1 and cart 2. These are the two objects in my system.